So this is a video in response to one of the questions of which protocols or which coins am I actually following. There's a couple of different ways to answer this. Rather than just giving you a list of coins that I'm looking at, I think it's really important to actually understand what the difference in different coins is. I think when you're starting out, it's best to keep it a little bit more simple. It does depend whether or not you're planning to hold your coins or hodl, or whether you are planning to trade, because obviously there is a massive difference. If you are wanting to trade, then the smaller the number of coins that you're dealing with, the better, because you really want to be able to track their progress, look at them, watch them for a considerable amount of time before you decide to actively trade them. To be quite honest, I think even if you're going to hold your coins, I think it's really important to at least watch your coin or spend some time researching the coins, or the assets, the protocols, whatever you want to call them, in order to actually understand what that price movement looks like, what's there, for example, you want to look at what the starting price was, how long it's taken to grow to where it is, what kind of range it's currently moving between, because all these assets are very volatile. What's the all-time high? I definitely got stung myself when I sort of started doing this, and would just buy it and then realised that actually I bought it at an all-time high. And inevitably with these kind of assets, they drop. So you're much better off taking a more structured approach to it. So if you were to use any of these exchanges that I've recommended, you can set an order. So you can set your order at a lower price. So you can choose where you want to actually set that order, and then you can forget about it. And eventually that coin will either be purchased or it won't, but it shouldn't be something that's running your life. I'll talk more about kind of trading habits in another video. If you were looking at the different types of assets that there are, you have probably, I would say, 4 or 5 different types of assets. First of all, you have your layer 1 solutions. First of all, your Bitcoin. So Bitcoin we would just treat as almost like a separate entity. It's definitely a layer 1. Because it was kind of the original, and someone explained it to me like blockchain. Bitcoin is to blockchain what email is to the internet, and that I think really helps kind of solidify and understand sort of where the starting point was. If anybody has the time or inclination to go and read the Bitcoin white paper, strongly recommend it. It's a bit of a head fuck, excuse my French. You probably need to read it a few times, and it's probably not going to be the most enjoyable read you've ever had, but it does start to sort of put some flesh on the bones in terms of what we're dealing with. I will post a link to that with this video. So then you will have layer 1 solution. So a layer 1 solution is essentially anything, I guess, which is currently competing against Ethereum. So you could look at Solana, Cardano, Algorand, Polkadot. All of those are kind of AVAX is a really good one. So they are all sort of their own networks in their own right. So we're going to start to see a variety of things, and I'll talk about that again because I could just go on and on. So that would be kind of layer 1 solutions. A layer 2 solution is something that will then sit over the top of your layer 1. So probably one that's really weathered the storm recently and has done super well would be Polygon or Matic. So Matic sits on top of Ethereum and allows people to still utilize the Ethereum blockchain, but with reduced gas fees. And it probably sounds like I'm talking absolute mumbo jumbo right now. So I will probably maybe what I should do is put up a bit of as like a glossary or is it a thesaurus? No, what is it? It would be like a crypto dictionary. Maybe I'll put up a few different ones so that you can just kind of get to grips with the terminology. But essentially, what a layer 2 will do is sit over the top of a layer 1, and it will improve it. It will allow you to transact more quickly. Maybe it will allow you to reduce the fees that you're paying. But essentially, it serves a function of improving the experience that you have with your existing layer 1 solution. Then you would have DeFi. So crypto, DeFi, it's kind of all being lumped together, but DeFi would be some decentralized finance. And when we talk about decentralized finance, we are talking about something which is not being run in a centralized fashion like a bank or a crypto exchange, so like a crypto.com with customer services. It's the control is far more with the user. and most of these kind of projects are more community led, which really helps keep the cost down first and foremost. It allows communities to drive what they want from the product. And when we talk about DeFi, it's all of the things that you would think of in mainstream finance, but not through a big bank. So it's the crypto version of loans. It's or what we would call providing liquidity, or it might be exchanges. So, for example, if any of you have been more familiar with these protocols and you've had to swap coins to get smaller coins, which again we'll talk about, then PancakeSwap or Uniswap would be really, really good examples of that. And then the final one, which everyone has been talking about since Facebook decided to change their name to Meta, which by the way is a load of toss, is the Metaverse. And anything to do with the Metaverse and online gaming is probably the largest growth area that we will see in the next sort of 12 to 18 months. And I think all of these different solutions probably require separate uploads from me, because there's no way I could cover them in such a short amount of time and to keep you all interested. But the Metaverse is essentially a virtual reality, which we will all be engaged in, whether we like it or not. And the gaming that's attached to that in terms of the pay to play, so people can actually earn money for playing games, and the kind of collectible side of things, so the NFTs, which is a non-fungible token. And again, I'll do something totally separate on that. So I would say, rather than me giving you a whole list, I think it probably is more apt that I upload specific modules recordings in regards to each one of those areas. And my advice to you would be to choose an area that you potentially want to explore and learn about that area, because there's a hell of a lot to learn, and it doesn't make much sense to invest in something that you don't really understand. And when you can use something, or you're interested in something, or you've gained a sufficient amount of knowledge about something, you're much more likely to make a more reasonable, logical, useful investment. Thank you.